Hey guys, how's it going? Balrog here. Welcome back to part 4 of my guide to the Monopolized achievement in the Halo 2 Master Chief Collection. This is for the level The Arbiter. So, the skulls I have on for this one are Boom and Grunt Funeral. And Grunt Birthday Party, but that skull doesn't really matter. Or maybe it's the skull that matters the most, who knows. Anyway, as I mentioned in my first couple of videos, the purpose of these guides is not to just do a straight speedrun. The purpose of the guides is to showcase strategies and tactics that pretty much anybody who would be able to just go through on normal legendary should be able to use to help lower their times down to the level of the Monopolized achievement, which is to complete all of the levels in under 3 hours. Therefore, I won't be doing any kind of sword flying in these. I won't be doing any kind of extensive skips that should take people an extended period of time to learn or anything like that. And as that is the case, I will be deviating from the standard speedrun strategies a lot of the time, and the Arbiter is definitely one of those levels. The speedrun strategy for this level involves getting past the first hangar, either by clearing it or by doing a hangar skip, which is a bit difficult to do, and then essentially using a combination of camo and other methods to just run past every other enemy in the entire level. Problem being, that strategy isn't very user-friendly. It takes a bit of time to learn what to do and where to go, and there really aren't very many checkpoints once you get started, and when you do start, you kind of have to commit to the strategy, because once you start running past the enemies, you really can't stop until you've reached pretty much the end of the level. That being said, for this level, I used speedrun strats in the beginning and the end of the level, and through the middle of the level, I just cleared as efficiently as possible and showcased some good tactics to use to get through the level relatively safely and relatively quickly. Even with all of that, the run still was under 8 minutes, and the par time for the level is 15 minutes, so I really hope you can find something here that'll help you get through it and help you get a good time in the Arbiter. We will make it through Monopolized, don't worry. And I believe that's about all I've got to say for the intro here. I would normally let the cutscene play out, but the cutscene for the Arbiter is about 6 minutes, and we're only about 2:30, and I frankly don't have 6 minutes worth of stuff to say. So I'm just going to go ahead and transition to the start of the level, and let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to do is deliver some plasma grenade gifts to our friends down here to get the door open earlier and skip the cloaking dialogue. So stick the Grunt in front of us, then stick this guy, then stick this guy and take his beam rifle. You would normally need to kill that Grunt as well, but since we have the boom skull on, he is killed by the grenades we stuck the others with. And here, like I said, we would normally have the cloaking dialogue, but we skip it by doing that. Once this door turns green, just walk in and cloak, and then jump up on the middle beam, and then onto this ledge here and drop down this hole, and you should be quite safe. Even if they see you, they generally don't pursue you down here too far. If you stick to this walkway, you will walk a bit faster, and you're going to want to jump over that barrel if it's there, and drop down right here onto this walkway. You're going to want to angle your reticle slightly down because we're going to hit the elevator button a little early by jumping right here. And since we're not doing a normal speedrun, I like to swap for the carbine here instead of keeping the sword. Since we are doing a bit more clearing, you can use these little ribs on the side of the elevator to lower your momentum. We're going to use the button on the right to open the hangar. There is also a button on the left, and there is carbine ammo on the right, which is why we're going this way. As soon as we can drop down, do so and cloak right before you hit the ground. Sometimes there's a guy there you can backsmack as well. If he is, just backsmack him and then cloak immediately. So I'm going to use this crate to demonstrate head glitching in just a moment. So basically on Halo 2, if your head is hidden, the enemies cannot know where you are even if the rest of your body is exposed. So if you ever need to hide your head, you should be safe. Once the doors open, get on this side and start dealing with these sentinels. This is a great spot to hide because you can be right behind this little lip here, but the level actually doesn't want you to be out there this much, so it tries to push you back in if you could try to go too far out to the left there. So these guys will also congregate on the left side here, except they will be focused on the ship as soon as it comes in, and the sentinels will as well, so you are free to pick off the sentinels as you can. So after these waves are cleared and after the sentinels are taken care of, there's going to be 3 fuel rod guys coming out of some combination of these 4 doors. There's one right there. Multiple fuel rod guys can come out of the same door as well. The ship should still be here, and all of your guys should still be alive at this point, so they also are great for dealing with the fuel rods. So after the fuel rod guys are dead, more waves come out. There are generally needler grunts and carbine elites, which are quite dangerous. So if you want to, you can hide right back here the entire time. Just hang at the back of the hangar. They might cost you 10 or 20 seconds looking for these guys, but that's a whole lot better than trying to pursue and then get gripped in between two of them and then having to revert to a checkpoint and losing more time. I highly recommend using the carbine to kill the grunts and saving the beam rifles for the elites. There is another full beam rifle right about under the ship in the middle of the hangar. However, I always like to take that down with me and swap my empty beam rifle out right before I go down. As you can see, after those waves are cleared, that far door opens and two grunts come out carrying deployable turrets, as well as a sword elite which should be on his way out in a moment, and I think the carbine elite already came out. Anyway, the safest strategy for this hangar is just to hang by those two big doors back there and pick things off with your carbine and battle rifle as it goes. I was going to stealth here and sneak up behind this elite, except my friend killed him already. So here, before I go down, I'm going to swap my beam rifle with the fresh one right under the ship here. Although if you prefer taking a plasma pistol down with you instead of the beam rifle, that is just as good. There are grenades right here to the right as you go down, and I'm going to fill up right now. So as soon as you hit that load zone, this elite will start to walk forward, and two grunts will be right behind him, followed by a number of other elites. The boom skull plus the grunt funeral skull will do a little bit of damage to them, but usually not too much. You can chuck grenades here, or use the beam rifle, or you can use the plasma pistol carbine combo. It looks like this elite got caught in the geometry here, so we are just going to snipe the wall behind him, then fail to melee him, then end up sticking him and running away. One of the great things about this level is there is so much carbine ammo everywhere. As you can see, I was almost out, and I am almost full again now. So this door opens, and there are going to be 3 grunts with kneelers, 2 to the right there and 1 to the left. I like to deal with those 2 and then go back into this room immediately for safety in case these 2 elites or that grunt down there are on me. Using the door frame for cover, we're going to deal with one of them, which generally makes the other one retreat back behind those boxes. We're going to just cloak right here and go back smack him. Very well. So there are also 2 elites with sentinel beams already spawned in this room. One is in the center and one is up there by those crates. We're going to go ahead and deal with the one on the ground right now, and then I'm going to cross a threshold and force 2 elites to spawn out of a door to the left. So it is this door right here, and the threshold is this close conveyor belt on the floor. As soon as you cross it, it'll trigger these guys to come out and get ready to snipe them or have a couple of plasma pistol bursts for them or whatever you would like. I overheated my beam rifle there, so I was not able to kill both of them. You should actually almost be out of beam rifle at this point, but there is a plasma pistol right behind us. And the beam rifle sentinel by this crate finally showed his face, so we can deal with him. This second beam rifle sentinel with a third beam rifle sentinel is the one that came out of that door that I was not able to kill earlier. After those guys are dead, go ahead and move up a little bit. There's going to be 4 kneeler grunts coming out of this door, so I always like to chuck a grenade right in the middle there. And also, it's always good practice to check the crates to the right here if you aren't sure everything is dead. I'm going to swap my almost empty beam rifle out with this plasma pistol on the ground right here. It should be full. And we are just going to march down this last set of tunnels here, and these are almost the last enemies we're going to kill here. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we did a couple speedrun strats at the beginning, and now we are going to do some speedrun strats at the end here and run past most of the rest of it, but it's not really too bad of a run. There is a camo crouch jump you'll have to do, however it is right after checkpoint, so if you happen to mess it up, it will only take a second or 2 off of the timer. So I like to stick this guy and then immediately look right, because generally a couple of grunts come right out of this door, but they didn't this time. I was so convinced they were going to come out that I kept looking that way just to make sure they weren't about to sneak up on me. As you can see, I've done it like 4 times now. Just be safe moving down this hallway, move slowly, use camo if necessary, hide behind the beams, and you should be good. It also helps to abuse the boom and grunt funeral skulls when you can, like right here, although make sure you always stay back far enough so that you're not at risk of getting hit by a grunt. Even with these safer strats, we are still finishing in just a little over half of part time, so just take it easy, check your corners, and be safe. So right here, due to muscle memory, I actually swapped my plasma pistol out with the sword, but I recommend you do not do this. Keep the plasma pistol just in case the elites at the end have weird AI. And now it's time for this crouched jump. So we're going to wet a camo about right here, and you do need to jump a bit farther back. If you are too close when you jump, you won't quite make that one. You want to walk along this edge, and then you're going to drop down right into this doorway. There are a couple of plasma grenades here on the ground on the right I'm going to grab real quick, just so I can stick this guy. If you already have a plasma grenade, you can just skip grabbing those. You generally camo right there as well, but I didn't need to in this particular run. So right here, 3 grunts followed shortly by 2 elites will come out of one of these 2 doors. It is random every time, and I got lucky it was the right door this time. So I'm just head glitching and hiding from these 3 grunts, watching them on my radar as they go by, and then I'm going to go camo and walk down here. If they had happened to spawn on the other side, you would just use the carbine to kill the grunts. And here are the two elites, which are almost always coming up that ramp, but they did not in this run, and I actually wish at that point I had my plasma pistol just for safety, because they can sometimes be just right by that door. Either way, just hop in the Banshee and fly straight over here. We are just going to fly straight to the end of the level. We're going to land our Banshee right on top of this little structure, and then camo, and then drop down and just walk into the doorway, and that will trigger the end. And that is the Arbiter in a little under 8 minutes using relatively safe strats. If you find that you are dying anywhere, you can just go a little bit slower, hang back in the hangar a little bit more, let them come to you. We have plenty of time. Part time is 15 minutes. So you have 7 extra minutes of leeway just in case. I hope this video helped you, and I will see you on the next one.